Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you some more easy dishes for Thanksgiving, one of which is a dessert. The dishes that I usually cook are easily adapted to make enough food for more than one or two people. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it. Let's get in this kitchen and get started. I'm going to make a simple, easy dessert, and we're going to use our crock pot to do it. So I've got a little 1.5 quart crock pot. Now I'm going to spray the inside of my crock pot with some nonstick cooking spray. And I'm going to use 1 can of apple pie filling. Now I'm making an apple cinnamon dump cake, but I'm scaling it way down. This recipe would normally call for 2 cans of apple pie filling. But since we're making a smaller batch size, we're using 1 can. So you just want to take that and just get it dumped into your crock pot. I'm going to add just a little bit of cinnamon into mine. And I'm just going to get that mixed up in with those apples really well. Our next ingredient is going to be cake mix. The recipe actually calls for a yellow cake mix. I have a yellow cake mix, but that's not what I want to use. I also have this spice cake mix, and this is what I'm going to use for mine instead. So I'm only going to use half of my cake mix. I'm going to put the other half back in my pantry in a container, and I will use it for something else later. So you only want to use half of the cake mix. Now I did weigh mine out to make sure I was only using half, and I may not use all of this. If I don't, I'll put it up with the rest of it. But you want to take it and you just want to layer it on top of those apples. You do not want to stir this. And I am not going to use quite half. I used probably about 1/4, maybe a little more than 1/4 of what I had. But I think we're going to call that good on the cake mix. So 1 can of apple pie filling so far, a little bit of cinnamon mixed in, and between 1/4 and 1/2 of a box of spice cake mix. Now I'm going to take a 1/2 stick of butter and I'm going to melt it down in the microwave. I've got my butter all melted down. Now I'm going to drizzle mine on. I'm not going to pour it on, but you can just pour it just all over the top of your cake mix. You can also just put the pats of butter on there if that's how you want to do it, but I'm not doing it that way. So now you want to get you some chopped pecans, and you're going to sprinkle these just all over the top, probably around about 1/2 cup, but really use however many you want to. Okay, I think that's going to be enough. Okay, I've got this turned on low. All that's left to do is pop the lid on and walk away. Come back and check on it in 3 to 4 hours. It's been about 3 hours and 45 minutes. We're going to check in on the apple cinnamon dump cake and see how it's looking. That looks delicious. Oh, it's all hot and bubbly. This looks and smells so good. So I have turned it off. and I'm going to let it sit here with the lid off of it. And I'm going to let it cool slightly, and I'm going to dip some of it out into a bowl so that you can see what it looks like inside. Okay, I've let this cool for, oh, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. I've got me a little bowl. And I'm just going to get a spoon of this out. Look how hot that is. That is still so hot, I cannot hold the bottom of that bowl because it was burning my hand. So that will set up a little bit more the cooler that it gets, because this is still very, very hot. But there you go, a delicious dessert for your Thanksgiving dinner. And that is plenty to share or eat for quite a few days. Sweet potatoes, one of my favorite things, especially at Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people don't eat sweet potatoes. They don't like them. My husband does not like sweet potatoes, will not touch them. Neither will one of my daughters. My other daughter loves them. So it's just a personal preference. But this little dish is going to be very simple, easy, but very delicious. Okay? We're going to make some melting sweet potatoes. So you're going to need sweet potatoes. I'm just going to use this one. You want to peel your sweet potato, and then we're going to slice it. You're going to need to get you a pan ready of some sort. Now I'm just using this old cookie sheet I've got. I covered it with foil. That's easy cleanup for me, and that's the way I like it. But I'm going to just set this to the side for right now, okay, while I finish getting the sweet potato ready to go in the oven. Now I've got my sweet potato peeled. Now you want to slice it in just 1-inch slices. Mine aren't even 1 inch. Mine are a little smaller than that. And that's okay. You don't have to do them 1 inch. Now, how many sweet potatoes you use is going to be decided by how large of a sweet potato you purchased. But it's also going to be determined by how many people you're feeding the sweet potatoes. Like I said, Keith doesn't eat sweet potatoes, so this right here, this one sweet potato with other things in my meal will probably feed me at least twice. Because, you know, on Thanksgiving you have multiple dishes. So if I was just going to eat sweet potatoes, I would eat that whole thing. But that's going to be at least 2 different meals for me. Now I've just got this bowl right here, and I'm going to toss these over in the bowl. Now let's get some butter melted down. Okay, I've got my butter melted down. Now I'm just going to drizzle it all over my sweet potatoes. And now I'm going to get my hands in there, and I'm going to make sure that these sweet potatoes are coated really good in that butter. You want both sides coated really well. Now this is optional. You can sprinkle you a little salt on there if you want to. And distribute it around on those sweet potatoes. Now you want to get your pan. You want to take your sweet potatoes and you want to lay them in a single layer. You don't want them touching. Just lay them on your pan. And any butter you might have left, just drizzle over the top of them. Do it. That's all there is to it for right now. We're going to put this in a 425 degree oven and we're going to roast them for 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. I've taken these out of the oven. Leave that oven on though, because we're going to take these and we're going to flip them over. Look how nice that looks. We're going to flip these over though, and we're going to put them back in the oven for another 20 minutes or until they're good and done. Yeah, it may only take 15. I'll check them. Okay, these are going back in the oven for another 15 to 20 minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to make a nice maple pecan sauce. Alright, for our maple pecan sauce, all you're going to need is some maple syrup and some pecans. It's as simple as that. Depending on how many sweet potatoes you're using, now mine was maybe a half a pound once it was all said and done. And I'm going to use a quarter of a cup of this maple syrup. You want to put it in a pot on the stove. Now I've got this on a medium-high heat. You want to bring your maple syrup to a boil. Now when your maple syrup comes to a boil, you want to add in a quarter of a cup of your chopped pecans. Now keep in mind, if you make more, you're going to use a half a cup of maple syrup and a half a cup of pecans. So equal parts maple syrup to chopped pecans. So very simple. If you need to make this recipe bigger, it's going to be simple for you to do. Equal parts maple syrup and chopped pecans. Very simple. My maple syrup is boiling, so we're going to add the pecans in. I've got a quarter of a cup. I'm just going to get those stirred up in there. You want them nice and coated in that maple syrup. When this comes back up to a boil, you're going to cook it for 1 minute. After you've cooked these for 1 minute, you're going to take that off the heat and just set it to the side. This looks so good. My sweet potatoes are done. They are out of the oven. I'm going to let them cool slightly. I'm going to get them put on another dish. And we're going to get some of this maple pecan sauce put over the top of them. These look delicious. Now you want to make sure that you're keeping this warm, or you make it right before these come out of the oven. And you're just going to take these pecans and maple syrup and you're just going to put them all over the top of your sweet potatoes. It's just a nice maple pecan sauce. Here you go. Melting sweet potatoes with a maple pecan sauce. These look and smell delicious. Let's cut into one of them. I'm going to show you the inside. Nice and crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside, with a beautiful maple pecan sauce. Enjoy. We are going to make some delicious mac and cheese. I've got a few spices I'm going to add in. Let's get started. I'm starting this mac and cheese by putting me a little pot of water on the stove. Now, I don't have a big saucepan because I'm not fixing enough for an army. I'm just fixing a little bit. There we go. You just want to whisk that up in there and get it all mixed up together. Let those granules dissolve. You want to bring this to a boil. Now this is about to come to a boil, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour me a cup of elbow macaroni right into that pot. I'm going to get it stirred up in there. This is going to come to a boil, and I'm just going to let it boil until the macaroni is done. I'll probably do an al dente. While my macaroni noodles are cooking back there, we're going to get our cheese sauce started. I've got my little 8-inch skillet, and I've put about 2 to 2.5 tablespoons of butter in it, and I'm going to let it melt down. To this, I'm going to add just one of my cubes of garlic. I'm going to let that melt down too, and I'm going to get it incorporated in with the butter. Now to this, I'm going to add me a little bit of onion powder. And yes, some garlic powder. Some smoked paprika. And some black pepper. Get all that stirred up together. Now I'm going to add in some heavy whipping cream. You can use milk if you want to. My macaroni is ready. I'm going to take this and drain it. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in some cheese to my mixture back here in my skillet. So I'm going to use some Colby Jack, and I have some mild white cheddar. I'm just going to mix the two in, stir it around, let it get melted down. If I need to add more heavy whipping cream, I'll just add some more in. I want this nice and creamy. I'm going to go ahead and add some more heavy whipping cream in. I'm not going to use any type of flour or eggs in this mac and cheese. So don't worry if you don't have those two things. Now I've got this on a low to medium heat because I don't want to scorch anything that's in there. I'm going to add in some of my pasta liquid. Get that stirred around, mixed up in there. I added in a little more heavy whipping cream and a little more of both of the cheese. I want to make sure that I have enough cheese sauce for the mac and cheese that I cooked, and if I have any extra cheese sauce, that's fine. I'll put it in the refrigerator and I'll eat it on something else. I'll do a version of dirty fries or something. It won't go to waste. I think this is just about ready. I've got my macaroni noodles back there. I got my cheese sauce. It's nice and creamy and smooth. It tastes delicious, by the way. I did taste it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put about half of this in with my macaroni noodles. I'm going to get that stirred around in there. And now I'm going to add some more cheese to that. And I'm going to get that stirred in really well. That looks really good and cheesy. So now I'm going to put the rest of my cheese sauce in. And I'm going to get that stirred up in there. I've got me a little casserole dish right here, and I have sprayed it with nonstick cooking spray. I'm going to transfer my mac and cheese over into that. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I want mine put in the oven. So let's get this transferred into that bowl. Now that 1 cup of uncooked macaroni noodles has created a lot of macaroni. A lot. That is multiple meals or can feed multiple people. But it's a very easy recipe that you can adapt to however you want to make it. You don't have to make it exactly how I did, but that's just showing you don't have to have a roux to make homemade mac and cheese. And you don't have to have eggs if you're going to cook it in the oven. I melted down a couple of tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to add some panko breadcrumbs into that butter, and I'm going to get it all well combined. And then I'm going to sprinkle it on top of my mac and cheese. Need just a little bit more. This is going to give it a nice crunchy topping, and it should be nice and golden brown. I'll sprinkle my breadcrumbs around. Just all over the top of it. Now if you don't want breadcrumbs, you don't have to put anything, but the suggestion was to top it with more cheese, and I didn't want more cheese. There is way more than enough cheese in this mac and cheese, so I was done with the cheese. Okay, I'm just going to get that spread out evenly across the top of that. I'm going to sprinkle me some parsley flakes on the top, just to give it a little bit of color. There you go. I'm going to pop this in a 425-degree oven for 5 to 10 minutes, just till it starts getting all bubbly and hot and the top starts getting golden brown. This is my mac and cheese fresh out of the oven. Look at that. That looks and smells delicious. I'm going to let that sit there and cool, and in just a little bit I'll spoon some out. I'll let you see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, y'all. Got me a little bowl right here, and I'm going to spoon some of this out. We're going to see what it looks like in there. Look at that. All nice and cheesy. Crunchy breadcrumbs. I'm going to get me a little taste of it. Oh, that is good. If you've never cooked your pasta, especially your macaroni noodles, in chicken broth or with the chicken bouillon, you need to. You really, really need to. This is delicious. Okay, y'all. You have got to make the no roux, no egg, homemade mac and cheese. You just have to. You could use a half a cup of those noodles and have plenty of mac and cheese. Because I'm going to have plenty of mac and cheese for a few days. So anyway, there you go. An easy, delicious Thanksgiving side. I hope you enjoyed today's video. All three of those dishes were absolutely delicious. I had the melting sweet potatoes with the maple pecan sauce. Oh, those were so good. And then the savory mac and cheese. Oh, who doesn't like mac and cheese? And let's not forget about that crock pot apple cinnamon dump cake. Man, that thing was so good. And that would even be good with a cup of coffee at breakfast. So make sure you go give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and make sure to leave me a comment below. I'll see you in the next one.